We are on Facebook. Oh, Instagram. Instagram is 3.
I didn't look to see if
2,
it's actually pointing
1.
at you.
Okay.
So I guess
Instagram's live.
You literally just came through the door like a minute ago.
Like 4 minutes. I just walked in and we started this.
And now we're here.
Thankful to Dallas traffic. But still no one's watching, so I don't feel bad. Maybe Evan is. Nope, it says 0, so I don't know where Evan went.
He's in the live chat. It says 1 waiting. Maybe something fucked up.
I don't understand.
No, 1 viewer now. There you go.
Okay.
Are you happy?
I'm very happy. I need to catch my breath.
So I don't know if I told you, but my friend Steve from New York
called
me before, and he showed me like some of the snakes he made from snakes that he bought, or that his friend bought that kind of gave them to him, whatever.
Wait, what?
Everything, all the ball pythons in central New York are either owned by or were produced by Steve, pretty much. He has like a giant collection.
I thought you sold him ball pythons.
No, I did.
Oh.
But I'm saying I sold them to someone else, but therefore that guy got out of the game. So
sold them to him.
Steve, yeah.
Oh, gotcha. So you didn't sell it directly to him. Okay.
Right, but everything kind of ends up to him because like,
people get out of it.
Before
he's the one ball python person in New York who stuck with it.
At least in that area, in like the Syracuse area.
Okay.
So he made basically the snakes I was looking to make, and they were really cool. So I was happy about that.
Before you got out of the ball python game.
Yeah, well, no. What do you mean? He just produced them this year?
No, you're saying that he made the ones you were looking to make, and I'm saying the ones you were looking to make before you got out of the ball python.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, exactly.
So what were those?
He has a sable female that I had, a granite female, as well as a blackhead that is het for genetic stripe and het for hypo.
Okay.
So he's going to be breeding that to a bunch of different things, but he bred the granite to the blackhead and got granite blackheads.
Okay. So does looking at them make you jealous that you didn't do it yourself or miss ball python breeding at all?
Talking to Steve makes you want to get like 100 ball pythons.
He's just so really into it.
Like he's one guy that I've talked to and literally like he cannot get enough of ball python morphs.
Just because they look so cool.
Like, yeah, like we shit on ball pythons every once in a while on here. But he is like, unlike a lot of other people, like just really into making different looking.
It's like no matter how they are to handle or to how little they move, he doesn't care. He just loves how much they look.
He likes making new, mutations. And like he's always like, oh, did you see this gene? Did you see this gene? And always trying to get like a new gene. So he's like, yeah, I just picked up like this thing called a rainbow. He's like, I don't know if anyone will like it. It looks like a lot of other stuff, but I like it.
But who cares? Yeah.
So he's like so deep in ball pythons, but is so pumped about it still. It's cool to listen to him just talk about it and get hyped up. And
but it doesn't make
it makes me kind of want to get ball pythons.
So
but then I get off the phone and I'm like, no, I can't do that.
He's just really good at pulling you in and like making you think it's like, oh, it's worth it.
Because he's just so hyped about it that it makes me hyped about it. But
then you get off the phone and you're like, ew.
I remember why I did. It's easy for he breeds a lot of rats, so I guess I'll give him a shout out. If it's go on Facebook, it's SMT. I believe it's SMT Reptiles, and then SYR Rodents is going to be his rodent company, but he is in the Syracuse area. In New York.
Never mind. I thought it wasn't working, but because someone on Facebook said, or Evan on Facebook said no YouTube, but it's there. So.
Yeah.
So does he only do ball pythons?
He has some other stuff floating around, like he has some green trees floating around from what I remember, and he's into a lot of different stuff. I'm not sure what he's keeping right now, but for the majority, ball pythons.
Is there anything that would ever bring you back into the ball python world?
The only thing that would is probably, my dad has a bunch of ball pythons. So
okay.
So the fact is, at some point, I may have to help him sell his or do whatever we got to do, but or get his started or whatever we have to do.
Dylan Smith asked, any tips for a new corn snake breeder?
I don't know. It's too late this breeding season already, but feed your females and your males.
That makes it sound so simple. There's more to that. There's more than that.
Yeah, but he's not asking how to breed. Just any tips for a new breeder. Nothing's happening right now.
Right. It also depends on like, do you have babies you're waiting to grow up? Or are they already, size ready and all that stuff? So it just kind of depends on his situation.
You broke my flow, but Steve said he listened. He listened, so I wanted.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Steve.
So thanks, Steve, for listening.
Thank you, Steve.
Right now, he's cleaning snake shit or mouse shit or rat,
which a lot of people do.
Whatever shit while listening to this. I don't think people realize that. Some of the people that download it, I don't know if they know that we do it live. Like, it must be confusing for some people.
Because live, you hear us like talking about things that don't
random people,
right? That are asking questions, and so it doesn't always it doesn't transfer always to the downloads. But
but I think it's turned into like a good thing to where we get to talk to like subscribers on YouTube and stuff like that.
It's definitely very helpful.
We just have fun. I feel that at least. I don't know.
So you don't have any other tips for a new corn snake breeder?
Time. It would have to be specific. I mean,
time things. You can give some time tips, like when to start trying to lock them up, everything like that. Yeah.
It just gets so involved. So like right now, obviously you can't do anything. So
right you just tried for a second clutch.
Yeah. But if you're asking for tips now, then you didn't breed the first time. First clutch.
So it's it's for next year.
Yeah. So it would be for next year at this point. So basically you're just feeding males and females, but if they are ready, either way, you can cycle them through the winter. So November, you put them down, try to get them to 55 degrees. I mean, in North Florida or South Florida and stuff like that, they still brumate. They just kind of open air do it. And it may be somewhere between 70 degrees and
because it's Florida
40 degrees, but it fluctuates all over the place. So anything that hits, a lower temperature, you stop feeding. That should be able to get them going.
Okay.
As far as knowing it's time to brumate, it's winter, stuff like that. You're still changing water bowls every once in a while, but that's it.
You're getting their bodies ready for that time.
Like you are putting them down. So, and then 3 weeks before that, though, you want to stop feeding, or 2 weeks before that, just so they clean out their bowels. So that if their body, I've never heard of it happening.
What, they can't have eggs if they have stuff in them? Like what?
No. If they have stuff in them, then they go into a dormant state, and then that could seep into their, I guess the theory behind that is it could seep through like their intestines and not be passed because their body slows down. And then all that bad stuff left in the
body just gets old
and the GI tract.
It just could go. So you want a clean GI tract before you're making the body go dormant.
Right.
But you said there's never been any case.
No, I don't know. I'm sure there has. I'm sure there's a reason why they do that. But
so do they not poop during that time?
No, because you're not feeding them. It's a one-way street, kind of. It goes in and out, right?
Gotcha. So it's not like humans where, like, if we don't poop, we're like, ugh.
Well, we eat so much that you don't realize that, you're storing up, I guess. But yeah, it's more one in, one out.
That's very interesting, because in my mind, I would think to do the opposite, that before that dormant time, when you're not feeding them, I would think feed a lot so they can have energy stored, for that time you're not feeding them. I would think to save energy, or to fill up their energy levels before by overfeeding.
Because you want them to go all the way down, and then you really want to pump up once you bring them out. You may put them down in November, bring them up in early March or something, and then really pump them up, really get them feeding every couple days or every 3 to 5 days, depending on size of animals, stuff like that. And then you're waiting for a shed. And then you may start pairing, but it's probably a little bit too early. That second shed, they're definitely ready to go. Put that male to that female, and they should lock up.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Primal Roots asked, what are some of the different corn snakes morphs and how valuable can they be? Palmettos.
Yeah, so I think the most important morph at this point, I mean, the two morphs that are going to be in play, as far as they all even out below palmettos and scaleless. So everything else you could count on there being like $100 corn snake.
Not saying that below palmettos and scaleless that they're not still some cool Moors, but they're just not.
But value wise, right, it's all kind of whitewashed.
There's a divide. There's definitely a gap between palmettos and scaleless are up here, and then because they are the top of the top.
Scaleless, you're going to be getting for a scaleless baby right now, maybe $600 to $700 around, and then palmettos. For a visual, I want to say maybe $1,200. I'm not sure. Exactly
I did not know they were that expensive. Okay.
So yeah, or for a pair, about $1,000 with hets. So
and then he said, where did the first palmetto come from?
The first palmetto came out of someone's backyard in South Carolina.
Someone got very lucky and found something new.
And then got it over to Don Soderbergh, and then he bred it out and proved it out.
So did he give it to Don Soderbergh or sell it to him?
Yeah, I believe he sold it to him.
Oh, I wonder I'm very interested how much he sold it for, because before everyone else knew about it, he's the only one who knew. He didn't really know what it was, if it really was, something as rare. So he could have sold it for like $50, not really knowing what it was. And then Don Soderbergh.
I doubt that though. Okay. I mean, it was very different looking. But and then we were also asked, what's the most aggressive breed or difference between breeds? I'm not sure if you mean corn snakes or like different species, but if you specify, we can get with that. Corn snakes, there's not going to be any difference between Moors, really. Just more that are closer to the wild. So palmettos are mine that I have are like F. One side is a wild collected, and then the other side is a palmetto.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the first generation out of the wild.
So they're obviously going to be a little bit more aggressive, but still on the scale of things, corn snakes really aren't that, like, they're not bad. If I can handle them, then they're really not bad.
Pretty much the best you can get.
They're pretty docile.
And so she said any species.
And then on the flip side, what would you say? I think your pine snake can be kind of mean sometimes.
Yeah, it's hard because there's so many snakes that inhibit different like behaviors that are just natural. So what is aggressive and what's
what you right?
And also there's also individuality, but it's like, yeah, that's what pine snakes do. Yeah, that's what scrub pythons do.
Right. I've heard a lot. At shows we've talked about, people say scrubs are like, you gotta really be prepared to have a scrub because they are. And then not
even
nice.
You see like giant differences between reticulated pythons. You see a lot of them that are crazy, and then a lot of them that are super docile. So
and there people don't know why. It just kind of is what it is.
Some type of I don't want to say taming, but I don't know. Also age, of course, but I just think they are more less predictable snakes compared to some other species.
Gotcha. Now, would you also say that aggressiveness is usually connected to feeding response?
Yeah, I mean, you also have to take into account what's going to be a feeding response strike, what's going to be defensive. So I have really defensive snakes, and then I have snakes that are really food aggressive, which I mean, you can't fault them that. I mean, you got to be cognizant.
Fault them when you have a mouse in your hand.
Yeah, you have to be cognizant about
what you're doing,
behavior. So you're like, so my jungle carpets, I don't ever just crack the tub and stick my hand in there, try to slip my hand in there,
because you're gonna
obviously
get bit.
They're gonna bite you because they have to be fast reacting because of their environment. I mean, when you're catching fast moving prey, you better be reactive or else you're starving. So.
Right. So they have to be that way. And so it's like, is that really considered aggressive when this is what years and years have told them to be to get their food? It's like what we view as aggressive, but it's what they view as just staying alive. Or
animals are just being animals at some point.
Right.
Yeah. So it's really all different.
But do you think there's one across the board that everybody views as like the most aggressive?
What, one snake?
Yeah. But you think generally people like in the like everyone across the board would say is the most aggressive? There isn't one?
Scrubs, maybe.
Scrubs. I mean, that's from what I've read. It seems
and plus, well, really, and it comes across, that's going to be a 12-foot snake compared to what?
A little baby one in my hand that's being
Yeah.
aggressive is way different
That's
than a
whatever.
12-foot one. Right. So
or
just,
like if you have a king rat snake, rat snakes can be very defensive.
okay.
So like king rat snakes will pretty much strike at anything.
Really?
So
Gotcha.
it all depends.
So it depends on what you define as aggressive also.
Yeah, she had mentioned that there was a yellow anaconda that they had at a shop, and it was very aggressive, which I've heard of.
Really? I don't know
I heard
anything
yellow
about
anacondas
anacondas
are generally pretty aggressive.
compared
I've
to
seen
other
a lot
ones.
of docile green ones, but not as many yellows. And the yellows are like the smaller species of anaconda.
Little inferiority complex, maybe.
Good one.
I think your hognoses have inferiority complexes. They are so
Yeah.
small and want to be bigger.
And then Harris Rice said, "Can the pied trait in corn snakes be passed on to other morphs?" Yes, it can.
Oh, I did not
So
know
you got
that.
pied-sided anneries, pied-sided blood reds. I'm not sure if there's some type of why there's not more pied-sided in different things. Maybe
Right, that
people
was just
don't
saying-
like it.
I feel like pied in corns is very low.
You just see it mostly in blood red and annery. I don't know if there's anything beyond that.
It's
I
just
don't
it's
know
not
enough.
as big. Yeah, it's just not. I don't know. It's not as big.
But I'm pretty sure it works just like all the other genetics. It's recessive.
Gets passed on when you get it.
And then corn snakes are named corn snakes because they feed only on corn. Yep.
Unfortunately, some people will believe you when you say that.
What are the more possibilities for a normal to a snow corn? So if that normal's a straight up normal, no hets, you're going to get all het for snows. So het anneries, het albinos. Or het annery, het amel. My bad. But so basically you're going to get all normal looking snakes.
Because of the het.
And
Gotcha.
can you show one of your corn snakes? I've shown every single one of my corn snakes in my YouTube videos. So
Or Instagram.
you can refer that.
We've said one day you're going to do
Maybe.
a live stream that's just snakes, but this is mostly talking. But refer to a video or Instagram.
Yeah. And then Debbie May Blackshaw,
Oh,
who's
shoot.
on,
It just went away.
who is on Instagram. If you think we're just talking to random people, it's because we're also live on YouTube. So it's the same
Can I
username,
scroll?
just YouTube.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I can. Okay. So they said, fair enough. Some are just grumpy, aren't they? Totally. I feel weird reading this because it's not a question. Totally understand the feeding response. I have a small. Oh, did you already read this?
Cali King that thinks it's 10 men. Full-grown Japanese rat. That's a cute puppy.
I know nothing about Japanese rats.
I don't really know much either about all the Asian colubrids. I wish I did, but Japanese rats are typically more edgy or just flighty.
Really?
And cow kings are kind of 50-50. So
It can go either way.
that are really food aggressive and flighty, and then some that are really docile.
Like I feel like you're
like my Mexican black.
yeah,
king,
your
everyone-
Mexican black king. I don't feel like he's that aggressive.
Everyone acts like they're very, very aggressive or something like that, but
He's not. I mean, he's pretty
there are
calm.
some.
Like,
though.
obviously
There's
he'll
definitely a bunch that
right.
are, but
He'll eat anything you put in front of him, but he's definitely pretty calm.
what is up? Gian Boro? Is that how you say that?
What
Am
are
I-
you?
am I
What do you?
stupid?
Oh yes, sorry, Borno. Yeah,
My top 3 favorite corn snake morphs. What are yours, dude?
palmettos,
Yeah.
scaleless. My third one is kind of similar to the palmettos. I like the peppermint.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah.
Is that a morph? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I like the peppermints, which are to me very similar to the palmettos.
They're basically red and white, like
with big splotches.
yeah,
And I
kind of
yeah.
splotchy red and white.
Splotchy red. I really like
know how to
those. I
explain
don't know
that,
why
but-
I like red and white, but okay. What are your top 3?
Probably palmetto, blood red, pied sided.
Oh wait, shoot! No, I want to change. I like the blood red. I forgot.
I also I really like the annery, pied sided also.
I can't picture
I'll show
that in
you
my
some
head.
like Walter hatched out some that are really cool.
Zeppa Pella, Zeppepellaa. I guess that's who asked this question. He said, are corn snakes good starter snakes? We
They're the
think
best
definitely.
starter snake, but any snake that you research thoroughly will be the best starter
Because
snake.
whoever's writing the thing of what it is believes that theirs is the best. You know what I mean? I feel like if you're really into ball pythons, you're going to come up with a way to say ball pythons are the best. If you're really into corn snakes, you're going to have your reasons for why corn snakes are the best.
If you go to a show, it's the guy who's selling whatever
he has. He's going to, whatever he wants your money, and he's going to tell you it's the best. We think corn snakes are the best because the temperatures and how you have to keep them is not very difficult. You don't have to change a whole lot from your room. Their feeding is pretty easy for the most part. We have one that's difficult right now, but for the most part, corn snakes, you don't have to try a whole lot of different things with feeding
once
them.
They're established feeding,
they'll good to go
every day, all day.
You don't have to. They're not like ball pythons where they switch on and off what they want, how much they want, and everything.
For the most part,
they're pretty consistent. So I think, in my eyes, consistency equals easiness.
Yeah, and then Lilypad asks, "What's the difference between a corn, rat snakes, king snakes, milk snakes?"
Ooh, it's the head shape. That's how you. Oh, that's how you identify it. Correct.
Yeah, that's one thing. But the rat snakes and the corn snakes are going to have very similar head shapes.
Well, right. Rat snakes and corns are similar, and then milk and kings are similar.
So corns and rats are in the same genus, and then kings and milks are also in the same genus. So corn and rat snakes are going to be Panthera.
Don't look at me. I don't know. I have no idea. Go for it. And then king and milks are what?
King and milks are Lamprepeltis.
Okay.
So they're essentially the same genus, just different species. And then corn and rats, some people back in the day called corn snakes red rat snakes.
Okay.
I mean, they are basically rat snakes. There's no difference. And milk snakes the same way. They're just different localities for.
So they're both groups are very similar between corn and rat. I mean, not both groups, but within both groups, corn and rat and king and milk, they're very similar.
So they're in the same genus, and then they're all in the same family, which is Colubridae. So they're all colubrids, and then kings and milks are together. Corns and rats are together.
Gotcha. Zeppapella, I hope I'm saying that right. Asked if you have milk snakes.
No, I wanted milk snakes for a while.
But you have a king snake, which we just said are very similar.
Milk snakes are different. Most of the milk snakes are a little bit flighty, but they're cool. I like them.
Okay. Do corns and rat snakes have this as far as flighty? Are they the same?
Corn snakes are a lot more docile than a lot of your rat snakes. So a lot of your rat snakes are naturally defensive.
Texas rats are defensive.
Texas
rat snakes are very defensive.
High on the spectrum of being defensive. But yeah, and that might just be for the amount that corn snakes are bred in captivity.
They've just over the time.
There's no saying,
right. They've gotten better. On Instagram, she said, "What is your all-time favorite breed, and do you have a specific favorite pet snake?"
So my favorite species of snake. I don't know. Do you know yours?
No, you go first.
No, I really have no idea. Now I feel stupid because I can't even think of one that's my favorite.
Green trees. That's for me.
No, because once you have a favorite and then once you own it yourself,
it's not
then you're
your
like
favorite.
You gotta move on.
Well, because it becomes normal to you.
Yeah, there needs to be like a next.
I don't know. You own a green tree. Green trees are still my favorite, but that's purely because of looks. Like your friend in New York, ball python looks do it for him. Like green tree and emerald, like those those something about them. The fact that they change when they're babies, so older, that really, I don't think there's another snake that's like that. And green trees will always be my favorite. And yeah, favorite pet snake, green tree is my favorite out of what you have. What's your favorite out of what you have?
Out of what I have is my olive python. That's my favorite.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. I mean, probably one of my favorite snakes is a scrub python, the king horneye in Australia.
Okay, but you're only ever getting one unless they're very docile.
Well, you can't get a king horneye because they're in Australia.
Right.
And there's none because someone was probably like, it's the largest species of scrub. They were probably like, it's much easier just to get it shipped from Indonesia, get the smaller bar necks. Instead of getting king horneye and putting that in your pants and getting it over to the United States,
it's much easier to ship it legally.
Smaller snake,
and it's comparable.
Yeah, and then you asked me like a day later, and I have a different favorite snake. So
different answer.
Yeah,
I'm consistent. Green trees all the way. I don't know if Evan's still here, but Evan would back me up on that.
And then Primal Root said, are toads okay for snakes to eat? I mean, if they're from the wild, I would always say, steer away from,
because you don't know what they
animals
have
from the outside. I mean, if you do, maybe freeze them first. But if you can get them feeding pinkies, that's going to be a lot easier, a lot cheaper for
than
you.
toads.
So that's just
why would people go to toads?
Toads is like I have the frog reptilinks. That would be a good choice if you have an animal that only eats toads.
Okay.
So hognose or something that may be in that category to where they may only eat toads.
Gotcha.
So my thing is, before getting it out of the wild, I would order some reptilinks. It's not 100%. Guarantee, but it's definitely better.
It's a try. It has a mixture of the stuff that they would
smells like frogs. Yeah.
Right. So they're used to that. And if you need the frog juice, Reptilinks also sells frog juice. So do people with hognoses a lot of times hatchlings start with toad, or like what even?
A lot of people will try to do pinkies with either sardine juice or tuna juice, which I've done tuna that worked for me.
Okay, but you've never had to resort to
different
toads.
Scentings. I mean, I'm doing frogs right now, but that's
not
just
frogs.
because it's easy.
The Reptilinks. It's different.
Yeah. I've never had to do it. I'm sure if I've never had to start a clutch from scratch. So
okay,
come back at me next year when I have a clutch of snows
and see what we have to try.
See what we got. So I was asked, how many snakes do I have? Not a lot. Like
the other day, I think you told someone like 30.
Something
around the 30. Next year, come back
enough.
And ask.
It's enough,
we'll have more next year, hopefully.
And then how often would you recommend feeding a 3 to 4 foot long corn snake? So for an adult, honestly, and especially if you're not breeding, you can only feed it maybe an adult mouse, or if it's a very big example of a corn snake, then maybe a small rat every 2 weeks. I've done that, and
just because
totally
they're
fine.
Smaller, or they're just naturally not very hungry?
Naturally aren't growing a lot, so you don't need to pump them with food unless it's a female that you're trying to get big enough to breed. So kind of the more weight the better, especially after you get her out of brumation. I mean,
that's when you want to pump her up.
You want to pump up the males a bit too,
really,
just in case they
but what's the benefit?
They're exerting more energy trying to breed
to lock up
the female, stuff like that.
So. But not as well. I mean, the female.
If you're really running through males, I mean, I don't do that. But if you had a whole bunch of females and you're putting that snake in every couple of days breeding with a female, then
he needs the food for the energy. Do a lot of people do that? Do you think most people have more females than males, and they just do their male to a bunch?
Yeah, I mean that makes the most sense. I mean, you really want to have that core of adult breeder females, and then get a male with really good genetics that you can grow up in a year or two and run through and get the genetics into those females.
So most people who have smaller collections aren't going to have two males of the same species.
You mean like mutation?
Yeah, excuse me, mutation, because it just doesn't.
Yes and no. I mean, if I have a bunch of het palmettos, I want to have. If I have 20 female het palmettos, then I want at least, I probably want at least 10 males that have palmetto in it somewhere, just in case.
Right, and you also don't want to put one male to probably 20 female. That'd be a lot.
Depends how much I would stretch it.
Right, I mean,
and how old they are.
That'd be putting that snake through a lot to put it to 20 different females.
That, yeah.
Also, your chances of them locking up. Would you say for a male it lowers with each time you try to lock them up with a female, that your chances of that actually happening? Or
I think if there's not proper recovery in between.
So what do you mean by recovery? Just rest time?
Yeah. So I mean, given that time for sperm to, I guess, regenerate. You want
how fast does sperm regenerate?
I don't fucking know. I don't even know what it does as fucking
we don't know how that works, but they need that rest and relaxation.
But with ball pythons, I would do 1 to 3.
Really?
I'd be cool with that. Yeah.
That low.
Because the males will fucking breed whenever. One male to 3 females. So
with corn snakes, would you do more?
You could do more than that, sure, or 1 to 4. 1 to 4 would be what a lot of people do, but
there's no like set number of like
whatever
after this many your chance goes down.
Past. I haven't haven't run a lot of males
through
just
different girls. You're not pimping them out too much.
Yeah. Plus, I always want to get different genetics. So even when I was breeding ball pythons, I mean, I wanted to get blackhead into a lot of things, but at the same time, I had some other projects that I wanted. You know, I don't want everything I'm selling to be just
all the same thing, right?
And plus, I want to see different shit. So
that makes sense.
So I want to spread it around. I mean, you can always do that, but
so it's just kind of up to you how much you want to.
But it's different even with like carpet pythons. I've heard of people having much closer to 1-to-1 or
really? Why?
Just because I've heard of a lot of. You also have to do male combat sometimes to get them to go.
I don't know what that means. Male combat?
Put males to
like
male
fighting?
So that they would fight each other so that they get ready
like to the death?
No, they just kind of wrestle with each other.
That gets them like amped up?
I mean, it's nature. They fight in nature.
That sounds so crazy to me.
So that will definitely get a male that may not be ready to breed to get ready to breed.
Let's get. Well, I don't know. I'm just thinking. I feel like human males do that with each other. Like, let's roughhouse a little bit before we go out. And it's interesting the connections between snakes and humans in that aspect.
Why do you think guys fight other guys at bars? Hoping to get some girls.
Oh my gosh.
There's usually a girl in between any fight.
There's a girl.
There's a girl somewhere in
everything a male does is for a girl.
Yeah, absolutely. So someone asked, they have a python and a 6-month-old boa. Could they interact? I mean, don't house them together, but if they see each other, they're not going to fight each other.
But if they're even in a big tank or whatever, you still want to put them together?
No, absolutely not. Okay. You're talking about South America, Central America with West Africa.
Oh, very different. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Never mind.
Even then, even if somewhere at the same place, I mean, unless it's a perfect setup, then whatever.
But he said without being aggressive. So 100% if you put them together, they're going to be aggressive? There's
no, they're just going to be stressed out, and one of them's not going to get proper care because they have different care requirements.
Because you have to, right? You're going to end up leaning towards the care of one versus the other. So
don't think you're going to put them together and they're going to fucking kumbaya and love each other, but also know that they're snakes and they're probably just going to ignore each other.
Right, but it's in the best interest not to put them together.
Right. And I mean, if we get down to fucking, what is it, brass tacks? Isn't that the thing? But if you get down to it,
sounds like something I learned in high school, but I don't know what brass tacks.
No matter what, holding a snake is going to put some stress. So,
right. But less stress.
So it's like holding snakes and then seeing other snakes. That's just adding a little bit of stress. So whether you want to or not is up to you, but I don't choose to nap with my animals or any shit like that.
Oh my gosh, or just have it hanging on your neck. But you don't put any of your snakes together just because you're on the rock system. So obviously that's different. But you just
no matter what, your snakes aren't going to cohab. I mean, there are some communal snakes in the wild, but for the most part, they are going to be individual in the wild.
So just if you have the space, keep them.
No matter what, keep them separate.
Well, okay.
No matter what, keep them separate because
no matter what, keep them separate.
Fighting over resources, whether it's heat, and then you gotta feed them separately.
But even like 2 corn snakes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
No matter what, keep them separate.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
There's just a certain amount of stress that the animal's going to get. And then also we've all seen other snakes, even if they're not known for eating other snakes, they will eat their cage mate if they have them.
So you're increasing the chance of that happening. So
it's just not smart.
Okay.
It's just not smart. Fuck out of here with that shit.
Okay. Zeppa Pella asked earlier, your oldest snake. I can answer that. He is Tony. It is a normal corn snake, and he's 14.
It's an A-male
it's an A-male corn snake, and he is 14 years old. And then Dylan said, I'm planning to breed next season. How do you recommend I sell my normal hatchlings and for what price?
Normals, honestly, at this point are going to be super hard to sell to anyone.
Because they're just everywhere? Or
I mean, they're going to be selling for maybe $15, which is what
you're going to put into it to make
$15 to $18 to produce.
So it's
It's not going to be a money-making venture. So if you want to just give them away to friends who you think are responsible and want a snake, I would do that. Like I have nieces and nephews, so I've given them snakes.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but if he has a lot, would pet stores take them if he has a bunch?
You can try to wholesale if you go on different websites, but now I don't even think many people are wanting wholesale normals. Evan will take all free snakes.
I mean, yeah, we're selling them for $0.
And then wherever that Florida kid is, he'd probably eat them from last week.
Oh yeah, they talked about how much they eat. And then Zeppa Pella asked, "My parent corn snakes and snakes." Oh,
my parents fear corn snakes.
Oh, he wants a snake. So how would
get them?
How do you get people to like snakes?
It's just education. Maybe having that first experience.
It's totally experience. It's totally like. I hate it. Well, I didn't hate snakes, but I knew nothing about snakes before I met him, and it's just through like handling. If there's
and knowing that they're not
gonna bite you for the most part.
Well, just knowing that they're animals that aren't out there.
Mm-hmm. If you have any reptile I don't know where you live, Zeppa Pella, but if you have any reptile shows in your area, that would be a good place to go and get or
at least show videos in the beginning and then ease on and then
show them you're not going to lose them or let them loose.
Be responsible. Yeah. You also need to show them that you're very educated. So come at them with some education.
I know this temperature and I'm going to keep it in this type of enclosure, that kind of stuff. Okay.
Because a part of, I guess, any kid getting an animal is like the parents don't want to fuck with, taking care of it.
We're losing track on Instagram. Someone said pythons and boas shouldn't be enclosed together because some boas carry a disease. We didn't even think about that.
Also, I mean, there's inclusion body disease, IBD, which boas can pass to pythons. I mean, either way, don't put them together. But even if you have a collection that has boas and pythons, and boas can live with IBD for long periods of time.
Really? And
pythons will die
pretty
no matter
quickly.
What. Yeah.
So disease level, don't put them
pretty quickly.
Someone says they have separate. He said they have separate houses, but he handles them frequently.
I mean, you can do whatever you want. They're your snakes.
Yes.
That's just not me. I just feel like mine feed better, mine breed better, mine do whatever snakes do better.
But you can't fault someone for handling them. If you, I think you were coming into it from a different perspective and a different lens than some people are. This is some people's pets. Like they want to touch it. Like, no, I'm not.
No, I understand. When I get a new snake, I want to touch them a lot.
Right. I still don't support napping with your snake. I will never support that. And it's all over.
I just tried to reduce the amount of stress, no matter what. But
someone else said, my 2 ball pythons, on the other hand, stay together. What are your thoughts on ball pythons in the same enclosure?
No, it's the same.
He still says no. He just says no to everything.
I keep 2 baby corns together and they get along just fine. They have, and then one snake gets sick and then both snakes are sick. And then you only have a heat source that's so big. And
if you have 2, maybe you have 2 heat sources in a front and a back one. So
if you have, but then you might as well just get separate. And you need an enclosure that's maybe double the size with double the stuff.
So then you might as well just separate, because you would need 2 hides, 2
and then you need to feed them separately, all that other stuff. So
because I'm not feeding them if they live in the same enclosure. How does that work?
Yeah, some people do it. I mean, just no. It just makes your life harder, and I don't know. You got to put in the extra work.
Also, it's like that person said they get along. It's like, what is your definition of getting along? Like, is that not killing each other? Is that getting along?
Don't talk. Yeah.
Right. How do we really know what getting along is? Dylan said, nope.
You really need to siphon these out. Like I read them before I start
talk.
Them.
I just start talking.
I just start
reading and then realize I fucked up. Sorry, but he's from Finland. Oh,
that's super awesome.
That's cool. No reptile shows. So then YouTube will be your best friend. I think that's the best.
Seriously,
you can do.
Don't show them.
Don't show anyone. Yes. Make sure you
with Brian.
You watch the videos before you show them to your parents, because you have no idea what might come up. You don't want you don't want to show them people getting bit or anything.
Yeah, that's the Dudesons are from Finland.
The Dudesons do a lot of crazy stuff. They did the snake in the pool with Brian.
Don't watch that.
But then the Dudesons also had Casey. So
No, they're
that's
cool.
separate.
It's just Brian put a snake in a situation. But we digress, as always.
Well,
You
that
like
was
that
very
voice?
intense. I didn't like that
Yeah.
voice.
Have you ever had a snake escape from its enclosure? Try
2 nights ago. 2 nights ago. Okay, so I get home and I like open the closet. I'm like, I call him and I go, "Hey babe, did you mean to leave the bottom tub open?" He goes, "Oh yeah, like I put what is it? What was the bottom? Who's in the bottom tub? I don't remember."
It was a female.
A female.
It was a female. It was a corn
You could-
snake. It was
okay,
a female corn
He was
snake.
like, "Oh yeah, I
Trying
put
to open a beer.
I put the female corn snake in with the male to see if they lock up." I'm like, "Okay." And then I like hang up and then I call him back 2 seconds later and go, "Did you mean to leave the third from the bottom tub open too?" And he's like, "Oh shit. No, he didn't." So me being the person who's only handled and known about snakes for 6 months, I immediately am like, "Nope, I don't know what to do right now." Like I go looking every inch of the house or the apartment. Can't find the snakes. Turns out they are.
No, don't even say you looked every
I
inch. I told
did.
you where to look. You didn't
Oh my
look
God.
exactly where I knew they would be. So it was a breeding pair, and I left it cracked. I don't fucking know.
Yes, you left it cracked.
No, yeah, it was stupid.
And they.
But I said, take the tub out and look behind.
I
in
looked
the rack.
behind one tub. I didn't. There was 2 tubs open. I only looked
said,
behind one.
You gotta look behind both of
You
them.
did say
and they were fucking in the rack.
Okay.
So most
So,
of the time, your snakes are going to go to the darkest, warmest place, and
Which
that's
is
usually even
back of
in
your
the
rack.
fucking rack.
So
itself,
yes, his
so.
snakes were on the heat tape in the back of the rack. So for future people, if it happens to you, look.
It will happen to you.
It will happen to you. Look in the back of your rack first
And then
before you go everywhere else. And
and then you go,
then you go to
under
the dark,
refrigerator,
the
behind the
corners.
refrigerator, under your mattress, all other shit that's warm and dark. But also, we've had baby corns get out. I mean, if you've ever had baby corns, you know that they
are
so
about
fucking
this
small.
thin and can get through
They can get
any
through,
little
and like you
space.
don't think there's any space somewhere, and they'll get out. So
definitely do the touch test and make sure your tubs are all pushed to the back. But same even with the corn snake, when it got loose, where did it go? Right to the back of the rack on the heat tape. They love the heat tape. They like heat. So
as long as you catch it pretty early, you can get them. And then pythons are even easier.
Really?
So corn snakes will sometimes take off and be
go
wherever.
running? Okay.
But pythons will, especially ball pythons, will 100% be in the fucking rack.
Just right there. What about green trees?
They don't really escape.
They don't
sit on
escape
a
because
fucking-
they like their perch. They're not leaving
No,
their
they don't
perch.
go anywhere.
Even if you left it open, you don't think it would.
No. At night, if she was hungry, she would move around and hunt a little bit. So yeah.
Gotcha.
But for the most part, no. But I did when I first moved to Colorado. So like when I rebuilt the rack up, I tore it down, rebuilt it up, and then put the tub in there. Like it must have warped or had a little bit more space in between. So like I got up to pee in the middle of the night, and then the water python was in
the toilet.
Water bowl.
Oh, in the dog's water bowl.
And if anyone's ever had a water python, it's not a corn snake.
Nope.
So it kind of scared the shit out of me.
Evan agreed with us on YouTube and he said, "Don't cohabitate snakes, period." Listen to people do this all the time. So he agrees with you no matter what circumstance, just don't do it.
Of course.
Just don't.
Black and white.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Gotcha.
No.
Zeppela says, "Is $100 for a normal corn snake in terrarium a bad price?"
Honestly, if you're in Finland, that sounds like an amazing price. I don't know if that's a bad price, but doesn't seem like there is a lot of corn snakes in Europe, let alone in Finland.
So if you're getting one for 100, do you think someone took it?
I mean, do your research. I mean, if you're just doing that off of whatever the Craigslist equivalent is, then maybe no. I mean, maybe you can do a little research, find one from a breeder. I don't know of any breeders over there. The best I could get you is maybe like Germany, maybe UK. I'm not sure how shipping works in between like Finland and the UK and Germany.
No idea.
so yeah.
But from our standpoint, we think
if it's gonna be your only pet snake, $100 if it's a nice setup, everything, it may set you off right, and it'll be nice and easy for you if
just
you just
to start
want,
off with. Yeah.
I don't think that's bad.
Are we losing? Oh, we're not losing people on Instagram. But she said, I'm in Europe. Best case is finding a slow worm in the wild. What does that mean?
Meaning if you find a snake in the wild or a worm. I don't know if you mean literally a worm.
I
don't think there's not many snakes.
Well, it's funny. We got England, Finland. Maybe one of y'all knows how shipping works between countries in Europe, because we do not know how shipping works.
Do you have to be licensed in Texas to sell? Yes, you do.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a basic license that you can get from a Walmart, kind of like a hunting license, but it's like a sell snake license. Which, I mean, you could also go and get a venomous license, which I don't even know why that exists.
So what is it? What do you have to do to get your license? Just say I want my license and call it a day. So it really means nothing. Like, yes, you should have it and need it, but it doesn't mean anything. Like, anyone can get it, basically, is what you're saying.
So do Australians like North American snakes? Yeah, but they got to be under the radar because
we talked about this last podcast. Like, or I asked the question, what would happen if all of a sudden Australia's laws, weren't so rigid, and we talked about how much they would want the stuff from here.
Yeah, I mean, of course, you always want what you can have.
It works both ways. We love their jungles. Can you give me a beer?
Like Scott answered us a few weeks ago, and he said that there are a bunch of people in Australia that have underground collections of North American colubrids, stuff like that.
Which makes sense. We smuggled stuff here, so of course people found a way to smuggle it in Australia.
Yeah, but here, once it's smuggled, it's legal. Once it's smuggled, you're still underground. But yeah, of course. I mean, everyone wants what we all want the Australian species. Like the scrub that I want is a fucking obviously an Australian. I mean, it's just because we can't have it. That's what, once you get way deep into snakes and you start like the kind of collector's mindset, rarer and rarer becomes more appealing.
Well, that's not even snakes. It's life. Everything. That's life. You want what you can have.
Jordan's son.
So, but because it's like in our eyes, wow, those jungles are beautiful. But it's like, oh, ball python.
There's only 13 of these Shelby Mustangs.
Who cares about this ball python? But then for them, it's like, I see jungles every day.
Yeah, and then rarity comes in ball pythons too, because there's only this many of this morph. Only this is a world's first. This is the only one that exists. Rarity is all over I mean, that's how you set market price, though. Rarity is what keeps the demands higher than the supply. So that's what makes it. So
it's a good thing that there's stuff special to different places, because that's what keeps the demand high.
There's so many different like snakes to get into. It's so surprising because it seems like such a small hobby and stuff like that.
But you could never run out.
Much demand.
It's impossible to run out of like a snake to be interested in.
Yeah.
Like literally, and unless you're so specific in your taste, you can't.
There's really there's 20 species of snakes that we're really good at keeping in captivity, and then there's so many. The other fucking 3,950 snake species are just on the fringes, and you're like no one has 100% figured out white lip pythons or even green tree pythons are
You feel like people haven't figured them out?
White lips?
No, green trees.
People have, but you still have stuff that happens that doesn't happen in, say, corn snake.
There's still stuff they don't know.
Obviously they're just, you can't, the natural conditions that they live in. But
Smarties the Dragon 20,000 asked, I'm assuming, do you have snakes?
I do have snakes.
Yes, if you
you gotta screen them out before.
But I'm still gonna answer it. Okay. Yes, he has 30 snakes. Check out his Instagram if you're watching this live stream. I would assume you're looking at his Instagram, so go look at his Instagram. They're all his snakes. I've always wondered if you should put that in your bio, like all my pictures are mine, because I see that a lot.
All my pictures are mine.
Saying that I'm not.
All my pictures may be used by some other big reptile account that they put their watermark on and steal your
pictures. Possible being stolen, but all mine are mine.
All mine are mine, but you may see them somewhere else.
Right. Okay. People are talking a lot on YouTube. But they're talking about Hungary.
So Finland, they asked where expos. So mostly for Europe in general. Ham is going to be Ham Germany is going to be where all the guys get together. And
Really?
it's like one of the biggest snake shows in the world. So
I wonder why Germany.
So that's something I don't know. Finland's obviously a little ways away from Germany. I don't know how fucking Europe.
I don't know how easy it is to make the trip to Germany, or if.
But I mean, that's where the biggest show in the world is, pretty much.
Really?
Besides maybe Tinley Park, Chicago, but
the world. Ooh, so let's go to Germany next year.
I don't know. I don't know if it's worth it. I mean, there's
beer. The beer alone makes it worth it. Beer and sausage for Germany. And then
I've heard it's pretty odd little get together.
I wonder what kind of snake. What would you expect to see at a Germany snake show?
Everything. The Germans was part of the portal that got us all the Australians. The Germans are their middle point. As crazy at getting snakes as we are.
They'll put it in any. Stuff it in any place.
Yeah, like they're just as into snakes for whatever reason as we are.
Really?
It's just a much smaller,
market but country in general.
Yeah, everything in general. It's like having one state here that's really, So. But for some reason, that was like the portal. That was the beginning of the portal.
Gotcha. Zeppo's going to Hungary, and so he's asking if there's any expos or pet stores in Hungary. He said it's for Hungary. Oh, he can't read the. He can't read the.
What do you mean?
The language. He says he went to the Terra Plaza he said to go. He went to the Facebook page for the Hungary, but he can't read it. Totally makes sense. Yeah. I get it. Well, Gian can be your translator for the Hungary.
Such a
expos.
Diverse.
Did you know there was expos in Hungary?
We have here. I mean, I'm sure there's expos everywhere, but Hungary's right next to Germany, right?
Do not ask me. I don't know geography.
I don't know.
Someone tell us, is Hungary next to Germany?
Yeah, because it's in Austria.
Don't say yeah, because there's no. What do you mean, yeah, because?
Apparently, like one of my parents is from Hungary.
Well, I know there's the what is it? The Hungarian Austrian Empire. Am I making that up?
The Ottoman Empire, the Austro-Hungarian.
Austro-Hungarian. Right? Sorry, put it backwards. Yeah.
That's how I know they're next to each other.
He says no. Germany's not next to Hungary.
All right, whatever.
I mean, I'm not the person to ask. He wants a pet store. Yeah, hopefully they can find out. We don't know any. Sorry, we don't.
We are not.
We don't know past America. I don't even know
past America. Oh, you mean beyond America? I thought you meant like in past times, like.
Oh, I don't know that either.
Like
but
as if.
Yeah, I gotcha. No, we don't know further than
as
America.
If Hungary used to be America.
We don't know about pet stores and expos further than
when the Huns conquered America.
I mean, Austria is right. You know geography more than me.
Either way, I think people from the United States are like geological retards. Like people, I think we're taught so little outside of the United States.
Well, it's because we're so big.
But we're
we're huge. Okay, in Europe, in Europe, your countries
they all like speak English. Like they're all speaking English, and they have their own native language. Like they are at least bilingual
because we are. Okay, but this is gonna sound terrible.
You only speak English.
This is gonna sound terrible, but in some realms of life, America is at the top. So this is gonna sound so bad and
slowly dropping
but like
down.
when you're at the top, there's no need to learn the right. I'm not calling you peasants.
Kick them down.
No, when you're at the top, there's no because everyone works to be able to learn America stuff. So
learn America stuff. That's not even our English. Language. English isn't even our language.
Our version of English is. We've made we have completely separated from England's English. We made our own English.
Somewhat.
See, a state is bigger than the whole country. It's wrong. I'm not saying it's right. It's wrong how we only think about ourselves and are taught about ourselves. It is.
We are generally pretty fucking pieces of shit as a country, though, right? Like we don't treat other people great.
Depending on who's elite.
Like Finland's never done anything to you.
Okay, what are you trying to say?
They're just chilling. They're just trying to survive. It's cold.
It's cold.
They're just fucking playing hockey and shit.
Okay,
us, like, we have too much time to be like.
But there's a lot of other countries that have done stuff
people.
to us. So
no, yeah, but Finland's definitely one of those who's just chilling. Like Iceland and Finland, they're just like chilling out.
Are Iceland and Finland like the same thing? No,
they're
Iceland's
buddies.
more up here, isn't it? Finland's next to.
Those are all like the pseudo, very liberal countries where they have if you have a kid, they give you a certain amount of money a year, and schools are all amazing.
Okay, back to snakes. Cold. Back to snakes. Are there any native Finland snake species? Is that a thing?
I just hit my beer on the microphone.
Yeah. Are there any native Finland snake species?
I don't think so. Maybe there is. I believe it's cold pretty much all the time.
It's just weird to me that there's only that there's to me there has to be more snakes from more places that I'm assuming we just don't know about. It's weird to me that there's only Australia, Indonesia, some I feel like
there's snake hotspots. Costa Rica. I mean, you have.
But why? It seems like Europe is never talked about. Ones that are native,
cold-blooded animals that thrive in warm climates.
But there's warm countries in Europe.
No, not really.
Southern Europe.
Yeah, but if you think about most of them think about latitude or longitude.
I don't know.
No, it's latitude. Get out of here. Go across.
Which one's this?
Latitude from east to west, right? Or west to east, whatever way, going around, right?
This one. Okay. Yeah, and the equator.
Fucking New York, that's equivalent to the UK is above that, right? Stupid Americans.
But when you get on
what I'm saying is that South Florida is even with
what? The tip
nothing.
Of Italy?
Not even, I don't think.
We're so dumb right now.
So
oh,
there's ladder rat snakes, I think.
But there's
some rat snakes.
Think about how far down Italy goes. The southern tip of Italy is really far south.
They have
so there has to be something in Italy or in other southern European countries.
So there are two snakes called Rantecarmi and
Kayakarmi. I like your Kayakarmi. See, there are ones native to Finland. We just don't know about.
But there's two in the whole country, is what you said.
Okay, they still exist.
Yeah, but it's not exact. We're not going crazy. So also, I don't know what the translation.
So you said Finland is really cold. Does that mean they can handle really? I mean, they could handle.
Yeah,
really
just
cold.
Like in Alberta, there's a lot of garter snakes.
There's a hair on your microphone. It's driving me nuts.
Forbid. Yeah, it's like Alberta. There's a bunch of
Alberta. What?
Canada.
Oh, I knew that. And Alberta's really cold.
America's hat for all the Americans.
Okay, Alberta's really cold.
Yeah, it's not warm.
Okay.
And then also, if you go up, I mean, where I lived in upstate New York.
New York is cold.
You're gonna have some garter snakes,
but nowhere near cold like Finland.
Yeah, not exactly Finland level, but.
There's some limbless lizard called Visquitza.
I've heard of European.
Wait, isn't a
legless lizards? But I didn't know.
A legless, but it has arms still.
No, it's a lizard without legs.
Isn't that a snake?
No, but it has eyelids and a jaw that moves. Like a lizard.
It can still do. It can do like this because lizards can.
Eyelids, snakes have an ocular scale, so they don't have any eyelids.
Right. But you're talking about
like a jaw, like a lizard. So snakes obviously have two independent jaw bones, right?
Didn't know that.
Oh,
that's
why they're able to stretch.
Stretch so wide.
Wide.
Gotcha.
So it's a lizard that's caught in the middle of its evolution from lizard to snake or snake to lizard,
and it's somehow got stopped and reproduced in that middle period. I'm interested.
You've never seen one?
Never seen one. I probably thought it was just a snake because I'm
weird.
dumb.
I don't know.
I mean, they sound weird.
Yeah,
it's it's supposed to be a lizard, but
it's weird to be like a snake type reptile creature. Creeps me out, but they kind of creep me out.
He says it's a lizard, but it moves like a snake, but it's scientifically still a lizard.
Yeah.
Does it eat like a snake?
No, it eats like a lizard.
It eats like a lizard, and it reproduces like a lizard.
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know how lizards reproduce. I say that I don't know anything. Are they in America?
Mm-hmm.
What do they call them in America?
Legless lizards.
Legless lizards. Okay.
Real specific,
we're not inventive with the name on that one.
Yeah, the translation just turns it from legless to limbless. I mean,
Gotcha. Okay, Instagram's about to end. There's
limbless
only
is a
two
much
people
smarter
watching.
way to say that,
or there's 2 people watching on Instagram, but if you feel like continuing to listen, switch over to YouTube. I don't know how much longer we'll be talking, but yeah, thanks Instagram. Okay.
Thanks, Instagram.
So if Finland, the really cold place, has species that are native to it, then other countries in Europe have to. And we just don't know about them.
No, absolutely. I'm just saying.
But you were acting like they were too cold to have them. They have
they have like a few. Yeah, but there's no competition between Central America and fucking.
If you don't know about them, how do you know there's no competition?
It's a numbers game. There's just not many.
There's just not enough
cold-blooded species. Just like if we went up to the Northeast, there's a lot less species than down here in Texas.
But rarity.
Yeah, but for some reason, snakes in those climates are often harder to keep.
Okay.
So, like, it would be hard for me to keep a ringneck snake.
Are ringnecks
native to the Northeast, all throughout the country, but they are kind of hard to keep. I don't know, for whatever reason.
Okay, that's the English translation. Say that.
That still seems like Latin.
Right, it doesn't actually look like English.
It sounds like they're trying to say fragile with the fragilis.
I don't know, maybe it's more fragile.
No,
not having, because it's in the middle, because it
makes it very fragile,
not fully developed. We don't know. I apologize to anyone. We are not dumb people.
No, we are dumb people on this issue of snakes from Finland.
We are what's the word? There's a better word than dumb.
Uneducated, ignorant.
No, those are equally bad. We are. Oh, I don't know.
So that was the slow worm.
Oh, the girl from England. About. Yeah, the girl from England said, "Go find a slow worm." I've never called that. So, do they move really slow? Because they wish they had legs. They want to have legs.
It's a bad connection.
Is he calling us drunk?
I think so.
I'm
not drunk, just stupid.
I've had 1 1/4 beers, not drunk. Also, it may be the fact that I just sat in summer classes for I think 6 hours of the day.
Podcast or the podcast before,
we were a little drunk.
Was a little drunk.
Last podcast, we were a little. Oh, he's drunk.
I don't blame you.
What time is it in
cold.
Finland? That's a dumb question. It's cold.
What?
It's cold. That's your realization for drinking. Is it's cold?
Yeah, that's why. If you go in the United States, alcoholism, like Wisconsin, is
higher in
like
colder places.
Yeah, as it gets colder, alcoholism goes up.
But I think it also has to do with less other
Russia,
stuff. It's less stuff to
less stuff to do also.
But Russia, they pound vodka, but I think they're not as many drunkards because vodka's water to them, so they can handle their liquor more. I think. That's totally a guess.
No, you just don't get those fuckers in Siberia. You don't hear from them.
Yeah.
That's the thing. They're in their own fucking
It's
land.
3:02 a.m. in Finland.
Jesus
What's
Christ.
the temperature in Fahrenheit? Because
No, you got to do
You mean Celsius? You said
metric system. Yeah,
no,
be Celsius.
Please Fahrenheit. Do you know the conversion?
Such a stupid American.
Do you know the conversion?
No.
Okay.
Unless it's 0 degrees, then I got you.
Was it 0 equals 32?
Yeah.
So then can we just add 32 to whatever number he gives us?
That's not how it works. No, because 100 is boiling point.
Oh.
So it's not an equal. So it's 15 Celsius.
So cold.
What is that, like 50 degrees?
Fahrenheit?
Oh man.
Can I ask Siri?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ask Siri.
Siri, convert 15 degrees Celsius to Fahrenheit.
Can you put her on the microphone?
It's 59 degrees Fahrenheit. That's not that cold.
It's so close, right?
What did you say?
I said 50.
Oh, that's not that bad.
It's fucking summer, son.
Yeah,
it's fucking summer in the northern hemisphere, and it's 59.
It is June.
It's like 95 degrees out right now.
But we are in Dallas, Texas, which is hot as balls. So.
Yeah. This is his summer vacation.
But it's also 3:02 a.m. At 12 o'clock, it may be it may get 20 degrees warmer. Never know. But it changes your view of Finland. You thought it was super cold. 59 isn't terrible. At 3:02
in June is
at
cold
3:02, isn't it? Think about normal.
Actually, then again, in New York, it's probably
dropped
59
his beer.
in the middle
You scared you made him drop his beer. Good job. What beer do they have? This is just turning into a European education lesson for us. Very interested what beer they have in Finland.
Oh, what's the one that I've been kept putting
You've
in?
I've been
keeping in doing this Czech beer that I'm always finding, but I forget what it is.
You like Czech beer?
I don't know any Finland.
I like Belgium beer.
There's not many close imported. To Finland? I don't think there's any imported Finland things.
They don't come to America? They don't make it?
They don't have to. They do their own thing, man. Karhu 2.
We'll look it up after. Okay, we're not talking about snakes anymore, are we?
What are we talking about?
The last thing we talked about was just species in Finland. Yeah. Do we have any other snake stuff?
Karhu, Tupla, Humala.
Looking at that, I would not guess that's Finnish.
I would have thought that was like Yiddish.
Well, that's not where I was going with it.
What did you think it was?
Like Greek, which is so wrong. I don't know other languages.
We're stupid.
No, we're not. We are. Let's go with uneducated. Let's choose uneducated.
Ignorance.
No American kid is learning about Finland in school unless they take it upon themselves.
Yeah, but even if you ask me most things about England, I don't know.
Well, that's sad. I know a lot about England.
Yeah.
There's a. Let me not state all the things I know about England. Oh, it means double. So like double the alcohol content?
So it's like an ice.
So beer. Like 11.5%. Maybe really strong one. I mean, that's our really strong one. I've never had a beer over 11.5% alcohol content.
Finland, maybe it's more.
Maybe
we got pussy beers, I'm sure.
I'm sure. Okay, we're being dumb.
Are we
going to talk more snake stuff?
Well, what do you know about England?
I would love to learn more about snake England. What species? Oh, 6.3. That's average. What is what we're drinking? 5.2.
5.2. It's a Belgian style ale.
I like Belgian beer. That's my favorite.
There you go.
So wait, what did you say? There is an England native species? Yeah,
there's plenty of them. I don't know though.
What are the Zeppapella? You're just going to be our Europe consul right now. What's as far as shipping between countries in Europe? Is that easy? Is that hard?
Well, they don't. He was trying to figure out what his first snake was going to be.
Oh, so he probably doesn't know.
I don't know if it's a male or a female. If my pronoun's wrong, feel free.
Oh yeah, Zeppa. We don't know if you're a girl. We don't know if you're a girl, but you assume everyone's a guy.
Everyone starts off as a girl, right?
He's been very nice and helpful. I feel like I should go get a sneak for him.
You can go get the email. Did I just crack it?
Tony?
Yeah.
Okay.
You want to get him?
Yep.
Let's do it. I should just probably. Oh my God! You should take off the earphones before you walk away, so that it doesn't poke out. But Tony is an amelanistic corn snake. I've had him for 14 years. He is a male. He bred this year at 14 years old. He's only sired one clutch before that. But yeah, I've had him for very, very long, and they're easy snakes to keep over the long haul. I mean, I don't know, pretty simple. Even at a time when we first got him, we were told to keep him like room temperature, and he barely had any heat on him, and he didn't care. Well, I'm trying to talk into the. When he gets all like puffy and stuff, that's what he does. When he gets all weirded out.
I can't hold the mic. You can see.
Well, that's why you're asking me to hold him.
You can see immediately right past his mouth, like it's bulging. He just does that when he's stressed.
Yeah.
I've never noticed that. Would you say that's the same sort of bluffing like hognoses do, or?
No, not really. I don't know why.
So if you notice, Tony has white around.
You're not even on the camera, really.
Okay. Well, I can't help this.
So amelanistic means lacking in melanin, which means lacking in black pigment. So he is basically the corn snake colors are like a reddish orange hue, depending on where you're getting them from. They may be brown or gray background color with some brown to reddish splotches. But so A. melanistic, if you looked at Miami's, they're more gray with like an orange blotch. But the fact is, A. mel means taking out the black pigments. I mean, you can really tell between a albino or A. melanistic. Back in the day, we just called them albino, but A. melanistic because I mean, there's a bunch of like hypo stuff like that that looks exactly like an A. mel, but you can tell by the red of the eyes. So their eyes are red.
And this is the one earlier. I don't know if you already said this is the one that's 14 years old.
Yeah, I already kind of explained the whole thing.
Can I show his eyes? Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of the giveaway of any albino in all the species of snakes. They're not gonna have regular black eyes in comparison to other snakes. So,
do all corn snakes have red tongues? It's a dumb question. But...
honestly, I don't look at all their tongues, but I'm sure there's different mutations. Usually have different tongues.
Okay.
Or they can. So different ball pythons I've seen have different colored tongues, but I'm not sure.
I feel like they don't. I don't know. I'm thinking just back. I feel like they don't all. Do all hognoses have the same colored tongue?
From what I've seen, they're all black. I don't know though. I mean, I don't have all hognoses, so maybe there's one out there that albinos may have pink tongues. I don't know. Oh, I do
have an albino.
I think she does have a pink tongue.
An albino, but like your regular one isn't pink.
It's A. melanistic, so I think it goes all the way through. So I think she may have a pink tongue. You'd have to.
But your normal Western hognose does not. Right.
So if you just went to my Facebook page or my Instagram page,
so would you say all albinos have pink tongues
with their tongue
across
out.
the board? Do you think?
I have no idea. That would be way too far reaching for me to assume.
But think about all the albinos.
So if it's A. melanistic, then you're thinking it's lacking all black pigment.
So then that would, if your tongues are normally black and you take out all black pigment, that would be in the tongue also.
Right. I don't know.
But it's interesting, black pigment, what does that leave you with in the tongue? Pink?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I have an A. melanistic tongue
myself.
myself.
I'm going to go put them back.
All right. Hey guys, just got here at the tail end. From what it seems, I've been listening to your older stuff. He's so pretty. Thank you very much. We barely take snakes out usually, but we have we get asked all the time. But yeah, since we're hanging out, we're kind of way over time, so we might as well bring out snakes. We don't really care. So, but he's one of we have a few other A. melanistic, but so yeah, I mean that's much better to bring out like a big full-grown snake. It's much easier to see what we're talking about. But thank all you guys for listening. And yeah, so our older stuff over the download, I mean, that's pretty much, we're just doing what we're doing now. We're just answering questions, talking to people on YouTube and on Instagram and everything live. Instagram goes over, turns off after an hour, and then we're supposed to end this at an hour. But usually if we're talking to people, then we just keep on going. But if you guys could have one corn snake, what would it be, as far as if you know any morphs or anything like that, or what kind of snakes do you want in the future? Then also, I guess I'll talk a little bit more about the corn snakes. So Tony just sired a clutch. It was laid, I believe, about a month ago. So that's May. I believe it was laid May 17th. So they're going to be due to hatch in July sometime, probably. They've been at about 60 or 76 degrees, so they've been incubating, as you can say, at room temperature, which the snake room's at about 76 degrees. It may take up to 100 days for them to hatch. But so yeah, pretty excited about that. And we were asked, what size mice does he eat? So it depends. If I want Tony to breed right before breeding season, I may do a large rat, or my bad, that's not even close, a small rat to a large mouse every 7 days or 5 to 7 days.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's just to get him up to breeding size. So that's a fairly
That's heavy on the feeding.
Heavy feeding, yeah, for him. So
What is normal?
otherwise just maintenance. So he's at a healthy weight now and he's not breeding. So just maintenance feed is going to be every 3 weeks.
But right before,
and that's going to be a small rat or ledge mouse.
Right before breeding season, you're going to amp up the amount you feed the female more than you amp up what you're feeding the male, correct?
Tony is always at a proper weight, pretty much. Like even through brumation and stuff, like he doesn't give a fuck. He'll stay the same size. So, so I don't have to ramp him up as much as, and he doesn't have to produce eggs, so I don't have to ramp him up as much. So, for the most part, females I'm going to feed more. At least I'm going to be more adamant about feeding them more than the males.
And when you're getting a female ready for breeding season, do you amp up in every aspect as far as or in both aspects as far as size of what you're feeding and frequency, or just one?
I would rather be on smaller size, larger frequency.
Okay, just getting the female ready for breeding, you do smaller
in
size,
general,
bigger
I've
frequency.
found that corn snakes do better at digesting smaller meals. So even a young one, if you're doing pinkies, it will handle probably 3 pinkies better than it does a fuzzy mouse. So so you could do more of a smaller item rather than one of a larger item. So like pythons, especially carpet pythons, I want to do larger items less often, but
digest that better.
Yeah, for whatever reason, that seems to work out. That seems to what they're accustomed to in the wild. But I think North American colubrids mostly are used to having meals, smaller meals more frequently.
And when you are ramping them up, getting them ready for breeding season, are you doubling what you feed them? Just, I know you can't really get into percentages and stuff, but how much more?
So if I have a female that's proper weight, non-breeding season, so you're talking maybe October or something, after all breeding's done, she may have laid a second clutch. So September, October, and if she's great weight, then maybe once every 2 weeks or.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. But I mean, oftentimes it seems like breeding seasons come into each other. So oftentimes she may not be, you want her to be as big as possible. So it may be one small rat to large mouse. I usually do large mouse every week.
Okay, once a week. So it's not, you're not doubling what you're feeding them for breeding.
It's really just going on look. At least when I have a collection as small as mine, I'm able to go off look. Just
what you know is right for breeding.
Right. And I don't want them to be too fat. Don't want them to be too skinny. Don't want them to be.
But it's hard I'm just thinking about a first time breeder. They wouldn't be able to go off looks because they don't know for their snakes what a good look is.
Especially in corn snakes, if you see any white in between the scales, that snake is way too big.
Okay.
So you definitely don't want to see white in between the scales unless it's a female that's gravid, has eggs in her. You do not want to see that. And that goes the same for the males. So if you see that,
too much,
no go. Yeah.
Gotcha. Now,
that's only gonna make your breeding worse anyway.
That's what I was about to say. If you realize you made the mistake of overfeeding them and you see those scales, would you be like, okay, I messed up, I'm not gonna breed them this season? Or this year, really?
It may be, if you're already cycled, it may be the fact that she'll already grow follicles and she'll either absorb them or just lay a slug clutch. So you may breed her anyway, but you're not going to have good fertility.
Gotcha.
And then hopefully you learn for next time coming around
to feed less.
Obviously, just like a human, if overweight human females have babies, there's more of a risk than if a young, healthy. It's the same factors.
Okay.
So the healthier you are going into it, the healthier you're going to be going out of it.
And the healthier you're going to produce.
The healthier you're going to produce. All that stuff. So healthy produces healthy, obese.
But if you don't have looks to go on for as far as the amount you want to feed them for breeding season, what's the best thing? What do you go on? What do you judge?
You got to know somewhat
you just have
what
to kinda,
looks correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Or do the feeding once every week.
That's a pretty good standard to stay for.
Yeah, but then again, definitely don't want you to breed a snake that's underweight. because then you're coming to the point by the time she lays eggs, that's going to be very, very skinny snake, and it's going to be.
Is there a sign for underweight for breeding?
So if you see like a very defined spine, and then so you'll see spine, and then you'll see like muscle striations on the side and stuff like that. Sometimes if they're really skinny, like after they just laid eggs. So you can tell like a dehydrated, underweight snake, because especially in corn snakes, you can see their spine pretty. Okay. Normally, it's a very rounded off. You know, you don't really have a defined spine, but if you get that defined spine,
like seeing the ribs of a human.
Yeah. And then you can see there'll be 2 lines down the side, which happens a lot after they lay, and they're a little bit skinny after they lay, but you can see like the muscle, like 2 lines, which is their definition of their muscle. So
Sepapella, he's going to bed because it's 3-something in the morning in Finland. Thank you for watching. Your questions were great, and yeah, sorry it's at a terrible time for Finland. Thank you for staying up so late. And then
Dorka said, I have to be careful with my sunsets. Is that like a type of corn snake, or is it like the ball python? I don't know
what a sunset is.
Or tequila sunrise.
That's sunrise tequila. Yep.
Yeah.
But she said nothing worse than obese snakes. We've talked about that before. Like people just trying to pump them up way too fast, and it's just not worth it, and it's not good for the snake. So just like you can tell when someone has.
There's certain species that do better with that too. Like I've seen plenty of people get ball pythons up to size, and they do all right. Okay. But then again, we're talking like long term. Think about the long term
effects
of what you're doing. So retics is like the worst.
That's what I'm thinking of, because they're already big. The retics are already big, but you're getting them like so.
They should
ridiculous.
Be a nice lean. They should be
a lean big.
I mean, if you've been in the reptile community long enough and you've been on YouTube a couple times, you know who we're talking about.
You've seen someone on YouTube who happens to feed their retics a lot. And again, we don't have retics, so we aren't. It's not. We. I mean, I feel like we can't fully make a stance because we don't have retics, but. You can tell that snake is so
I don't
big.
Want to, and I want to reiterate. I want to at least say, it's not the guy with the ponytail. It's someone else. It has like retics.
I'm thinking
that are like fucking this.
Okay,
far
I'm
around.
Thinking of a different person. No. I don't know who you're thinking about. Never mind.
And basically just has people come and hold retics and take pictures with them because they're so big.
Oh. Okay, and, maybe now I know who you're thinking
of. Giving you hints,
Does he keep stuff outside?
Oh, so these are no.
Oh, I have no idea.
No, you have no idea. So Dorko said that was a hypo hog nose. So, or no, hog boa.
Oh,
which Hog Island boa. So, I can't tell you specifically, but I know that Vin Russo, which is like. He's like the #1 boa breeder. He has a lot of hog islands. What he does is on those islands with the boas, they have migrations of birds, and they have very, very heavy feeding seasons. So
gotcha. So when those birds are there,
they may not eat for 6 months and then have 3 months of super heavy feeding. So what he does is replicate that in captivity. So your boa is pretty much always hungry, but they're just opportunistic. So he has had success seasonally feeding them. So I would look into that. I don't know exactly how that works because I don't have boas. But if you want to look up like Vin Russo and how he keeps, and I don't know if his podcasts are still up, but he also had podcasts like Reptile Radio, like back in the day, those radio shows. I would definitely look into that because he feeds. People are probably feeding boa constrictors way too often
than they need to.
Yeah, because they'll always eat. Same with carp pythons; they'll always eat. But
we always talk about trying to match the wild. trying to match captivity
especially
with the wild.
Those islands.
They're so specific.
Yeah, and those Hog Island boas stay very small. So.
Were those smuggled here?
I don't know if smuggled. I mean, I'm not sure the legality of it, but Crutchfield definitely brought in a bunch of
I don't think you
from
can
those
just
islands and
fly
stuff
to
like
an
that.
island and just take it and check it. Like,
don't know.
it doesn't seem like you would be able to just do that legally. I feel like they had to be smuggled to America.
Yeah, I mean, I forget what year CITES came into play, but that's
What are
when that started
CITES?
happening. So that's what CITES is, what kind of dictates what we bring in and out, and it's
Is it an
the
acronym
basis for our laws.
or no?
Yeah, I'm too stupid right now.
C-
It's conservation.
Conservation.
I don't know. I don't remember.
Do you know the letters?
C or
no.
CITI.
CITI.
Yes.
Yes, that's a long acronym.
I can't think.
Okay, but it has something to do with bringing transportation of snakes across
It's just
countries.
conservation between like endangered species, and then they get a certain CITES appendix level,
Don't know what that means.
So, ones that are obviously more endangered, more regulated, stuff like that. There's different levels for
Right,
it.
right. Gotcha. Well, yeah, Dorco, check out Vin Russo and let us know what you learn about the seasonal feeding.
Yep.
And Gian, are we saying that right? Gian?
And yeah, I mean,
Okay.
that's totally right. He said retic should look like a giant colubrid.
Would you agree with that?
That makes sense. I mean, even if you think about a carpet python, I also see too many carpet pythons that are overweight. It should be that. It's hard to explain because you want to see a nice, like, thin, athletic looking snake, but like no one knows what that means. So it's hard to put that into words, but you see some of these retics with very rounded bodies.
Okay.
But they should definitely be more agile looking.
But then you said like corn?
Or like carpet pythons. They're very like semi-arboreal snakes and very agile looking. Okay. I don't know how to explain that.
Sleek, slender.
Yeah. They shouldn't be round like a ball python.
Is round. Like
is round.
That is round. Makes sense.
But that's the ball python. A blood python is round, but that's a blood python.
But right, I can tell carpets. They have a. I don't know. This is all I can do.
They're nice and you know that they can climb and stuff like that. Retics are the same way. They should be that nice, slender body.
That's funny because I feel like I don't see retics like that. Most of the ones I see are not.
Yeah, because the people who get the most hype for them are the people that benefit from them being as big as possible.
Gotcha.
So you really want to err on the side of what's best for the animal, not what's best to drape around some famous person's neck. So
right. Zappa Pella said, "Do you have fidget spinners?" Absolutely not. Completely against fidget spinners in the whole world.
We had a whole little bit about fidget
some
spinners.
Sponsorship, some sponsor. I can't even say that word. Sponsorship
from
in quotation from fidget spinners. But in real
life,
that
they're the new Reptile.
Real life, do not ever put a fidget spinner on your animal, no matter if it is the most docile creature in the world.
Jungle carpet pythons will. A lot of them, if you wave your hand in front of them, they will try to bite it because they think that you're food. So it doesn't matter if you have a fidget spinner in your hand. If you put your hand in front of it,
it's going to bite you.
Same with a lot of these other snakes or the defensive snakes. Same thing.
It will bite you. Yes. It is dumb. Even if you want to get out of snakes and reptiles like bearded dragons, don't put on your bearded dragon. Maybe your turtle can handle it.
And I agree. We've talked about this before too. Marco said it's sad seeing such big retics in small enclosures.
I thought we were talking about ponytail. I don't know who you're talking about.
Oh no, that
is okay. Small, yes, big retics in small enclosures.
That's ponytail. That's like no code at all.
Yeah, it's completely obvious. But I don't know who you were talking about before.
I'll show you after.
Is it someone we watch frequently?
No.
Oh, then of course I wouldn't know. No. Okay, but yes, we've talked a lot about big retics in small enclosures. Why are you going to do that to your animal? To yourself, because they're going to be.
Tom Crutchfield put up a post not too long ago about he keeps his retics outside, which South Florida is not, Indonesia is not, Asia. You see that fucking?
I know. Sorry, that scared me. Bird.
It's not Asia. I understand, but it's definitely a better way to keep than in an 8-foot vision cage.
Yeah, he's trying. He's trying. He's getting closer.
Putting big enclosures outside, shit like that. But
I just think there needs to be
they are very active species. Not very active, but definitely went smaller, active, but they're still
huge as fuck. That period, point blank, no matter how active they are huge. They need a bigger thing. Like, come on.
But they feel more secure in there.
Bullshit. Eyelash Viper said, my Californian king snake bit me yesterday. Is the first time they've ever been bit and didn't know how to ward him off. Maybe
get him off
because he's grown. Oh, get him off because he's grown and he was hungry and he was sitting there on my finger for a good 5 minutes. And I got tired and grabbed his head and someone yanked him off.
So a good thing to know is that the snakes have recurved teeth. So
just pulling.
So if you yank out, that's going to be bad. If you got to go in a little bit, then out. Sometimes if you do the mouthwash thing, I don't really
talk
do
about mouthwash.
that.
You talked about water, putting it like fill up your sink with water, dunking them in water. Has helped. What else? I feel like alcohol. Do people say rubbing alcohol?
Yeah, or usually mouthwash is that.
Oh, okay. Mouthwash has alcohol, but we don't. Yeah, but water works a lot for people. It seems just.
Or doing what you do, but be mindful not to rip any teeth out.
Right.
So.
He said, "Come on, Gian. Even in Budapest, he knows the two people we're talking about."
Wait, he's in Budapest?
I thought that's what he said.
Where was that?
I thought Zeppa Pella asked him.
Oh, really?
Because he was the one who was giving the shows.
Yeah, I know that.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure he's in Budapest.
Dorko said, "I live in Brooklyn. The only way I can try is not to have retics." Well, they're very illegal all throughout New York, but also the retics enclosure. I mean, Brooklyn apartments aren't even big enough for humans, let alone retics. So that's really
that's I want. How many do you have, Dorko? I'm interested because Brooklyn, you probably live in a box. You have a
leopard gecko and a crested gecko.
In a box.
That'd be all I got.
So
I'm from New York. The reason why I don't live in New York partly is because just living expense.
Do they have strict laws? You said,
and they also have strict laws, but I don't have anything that would
be against.
That would be against that. But yes, he is in Budapest.
See, the fact that everyone knows about in Budapest. I mean, Ponytail, I guess that's what we're calling him now. He has like tens of millions of followers, so it makes sense that it's gotten to Budapest. But I wonder if the image of him in Budapest,
if he's looking at us from Budapest,
then of course he's looking at Ponytail. What am I saying? Right?
We are the furthest most reaching YouTube channel.
Shut up. I wonder if other countries view Ponytail as the same way America views him.
No, because it's a small
because
it's a small subset of the population that we have here that
doesn't like him.
Are a bunch of bullshitters. We all like to shit on things. So,
but maybe the really intense breeders in the other countries feel the same way. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if the really intense breeders in Budapest are equal to the really intense breeders in America.
This whole international internet thing. Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Okay. Dumb question. Have fidget spinners?
Yes.
But he's in Finland asking about fidget spinners. I didn't know fidget spinners are in Finland.
Yes,
I didn't even
of course.
What do you mean? Yes, of course. How am I supposed to just assume that every sort of trend in America is worldwide? That is a naive. That is a naive assumption to assume that everything popular in America is popular in the whole country.
If it's popular on YouTube, then it's popular everywhere.
Okay,
the internet, man.
Okay,
the internet.
I'm gonna think of something. I'm gonna figure it out. Something that only got popular in America, and I'll message Gian and see if I'm determined now.
Things that are only popular
in America,
like catfish, fried catfish. What do you mean?
No, like trends, like not food, just like trendy, like stupid ass fidget spinners, trendy things. I'm gonna find a trendy thing that only got popular in America.
Trump's trendy, pretty popular in America, not popular.
Trump is not trendy in America.
He's not
what are you talking about? He has the lowest approval rating of any president ever. So, but he's even less popular in other countries. But let's not go there. Let's keep it snake and not.
But yes, see, fidget spinners blew up there in Budapest.
Okay.
Also, that motherfucker who is climbing that crane the other day.
Oh, was that
it?
Dubai?
Oh, never mind. I take that. I thought it was Budapest for a second, but
I thought it was Dubai. He was okay.
World
People don't
tallest
know
crane.
what you're talking about. The random YouTube videos we watch.
Yeah,
there are these crane
climbed a
people
crane.
who do it without any sort of.
And they hang off the crane and shit.
And film it with their GoPros and almost kill themselves.
Thousands of feet in
okay,
the air.
back to snakes. She has 2 ball pythons, 1 hognose, and 2 sunsets. Thankfully, she's in a house in Brooklyn. That doesn't happen very often. But yeah, she has to be mindful of size, of course. Like, you're not gonna get Dallas-sized houses in New York unless you're a fucking billionaire.
And even then, you're gonna be in Jersey or some shit. Like,
not in New York.
Houses just like don't
exist
very often.
Right, but the fact that she has 5 is still pretty good, and she has cool. I mean, in my eyes, cool ones.
Yeah, but also things that only get
to a certain
big.
Size.
So she wanted a boa, but she got a Hog Island boa, which is going to be the smallest of the boas. Not the smallest of the boas, but smaller of the like boas.
Okay.
But a smaller island locality of boa.
Okay, this is gonna be a dumb question. Since they're hog and then hog noses.
No, just don't even. Just throw out every Hog Island is it's an island off of like somewhere in Central America,
so hog islands and hog noses. No,
not
just coincidence.
Close. Just boas and colubrids.
Just coincidence that the name both has hog. Don't laugh at me. It's the same word in the shit.
But yes, I want to know what snake is in Finnish. That'd be interesting.
Okay. She comes from a third world country.
Dubai,
if it's popular in America, it's most definitely popular where she was born. Payless shoe store is big over there, but it's considered high end. Whoa.
That is crazy.
That is wild.
There is like a Pizza Hut right outside the pyramids in Egypt.
Yeah, and McDonald's. I mean, all those are everywhere. McDonald's everywhere. But you can't compare food to like.
Yeah, both Hog Island boas and hog noses have noses. That's true. They both have hog and noses.
I said it was going to be a dumb question. I was just asking. Someone else may have watching this or listening to this may have the same question. It's the same word, so.
If you found this show, you know what the difference between a boa and
I'm on this show and I didn't know, so shut up. I am on it.
You're here for the uneducated portion, you know?
Zeppa said, also, Zeppa never answered if this is a girl or a boy.
No, he said he's a dude.
Oh, okay, I missed that. How do you, Käärme?
Pizza Hut is 5
So
star.
snake is Käärme?
Käärme?
You think that's how you say it? Käärme?
I want to think there's some type of accent when there's 2 A's with dots over them.
Well, duh, there's some
that obviously merits some type of noise other than an A.
Käärme.
That's fucking stupid. That's about right.
If only he could send a little audio clip. Lizard's
Lisco.
Bird is Lintu.
Lintu.
Pizza Hut is 5 star. Whoa.
It's different. It's just different. Things are
right, but I bet there's things that are
there's like different menus.
There's things there that are like low to them that I bet are high to us.
Absolutely.
Like, yeah. So it's like to us pizza.
So the accent A is like EA.
Wait, so but EA in English sounds different because you can have
Käärme.
Because you can have meat and that's EA, but great. Oh, AE. So
Käärme.
But what does AA sound like? That's what I'm saying. The car is it care? The A. What does AA?
Yeah.
Sound like? Because in English you never have 2 A's next to each other.
Vacuum. 2 U's.
Not 2 A's though. I'm saying you never have 2 A's. Oh Lord!
They eat pizza with a fork and knife. That makes
people
sense.
do it over here, but like okay,
in Texas, but
Dorco, name something in that country that's like
Käärme.
1 star, and I bet that's 5 star to us.
Oh yeah, if you're like any Egyptian food over here is going to be like that's fancy, or
right? But like
in
Egypt, you said Egyptian. Let's go with that. Egypt. I don't know why you chose Egyptian. I don't even know what the fuck Egyptian food is. I can't even name that. But think about like us, like. Shit, I'm trying to think of something like no pad thai isn't 5 star, but
it's still like that's different.
Right. And like sushi even to us
Yeah.
is like, you're not going to find $1 sushi. Like that's just not possible. Like sushi, unless if you buy it
A
from
certain amount of shit is imported though, so that definitely puts a higher price.
But in the Asian countries, sushi is it's.
And then again, we don't bring everything from that culture over either. So we're not eating like a lot of the snake that they eat in foreign countries.
Right.
And
Octopus and all that.
the stuff Americans just find things weird that other countries don't find weird.
Which is like our line for what we define as weird makes no sense. Like it's like, to me, eating snake sounds crazy, but
a rat is a cow, is a snake, is any other living thing.
To me, eating
a
rat.
chicken.
To me, eating rabbit's crazy, but then at the same time, I love alligator and I love frogs. So like, the line we draw for like what's crazy,
it's all mental.
It makes no sense.
So in China, dog.
And they eat cats.
I don't even know.
They eat cats.
Dog everywhere.
Dog and cat in the Asian people.
You might be. Cat might be made up, but I know dogs.
Oh, that's a rumor in America. It might be a rumor. And it's a rumor in America that Asian countries eat dogs and cats.
How dare
Let me not further that rumor. Let me acknowledge
but
it.
You can definitely get like dog and rice in Southeast Asia and Asia in general.
But like here, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But we'll eat.
But then again, like, why not? It's just another animal.
Right. We eat other shit. We eat fried alligator. And
like, there's no difference between like breeding chickens
and dogs.
Breeding
and dogs.
Cows and dogs.
It's totally a mental thing. Like I don't think I could ever eat a dog. Eat dog, not eat dog. Like eat
or
dog.
Like horse is a very big meat in many other countries.
In some places in America, it is. Okay, Zeba's going to sleep. We need to go. It's
we need to actually go.
We need to actually go. No cats or dogs here.
Go down to Chinatown. You can definitely find a few pooches.
Oh my gosh! In Chinatown, you're gonna eat balls
and dried fish, and stuff
eyeballs, testicles.
You eat testicles. I've never seen testicles.
I went to a dim sum restaurant in Chinatown in New York. I swear they put testicles on the table. Swear
you saw like some guy came and put his testicles on the table.
No.
You were at the wrong restaurant.
Not his testicles, cooked like bull or cat, like
one of those stripper steakhouse joints.
Stop, gross. Okay, we are going. Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for listening. Even this long, I don't know what the hell we're even talking about.
I'm sorry if you don't like our non-snake talk. We kind of went off, but like if you do like it, awesome. We try to stick.
I wonder where Dorco's from now.
She said Philippines. She already answered.
God
right
damn
there.
it.
Right there.
All right, man.
Okay. If you like our non-snake talk, awesome. If you don't, we're sorry. We try to stick to snakes as much as possible, but we like talking with you guys. And it's cool that we're talking to people in Finland and Budapest, and that's awesome.
She's eating fertilized duck eggs. But
I can't, my brain can't imagine what that would even taste like. I don't know if it would be gross because I don't even know. That's very I like normal duck. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, bye. Check out our Instagram. Follow Port City Pythons on Instagram if you're not already. YouTube, obviously. Facebook. Thank you so much. Next Tuesday, we'll be back.
Later.